This style is the end result of a child who grew up listening to his dad's jazz music, was enthralled by his great-grandmother's work as a seamstress, and who loved martial arts films as much for their Chinese dress as for their fighting scenes.
Paledi Segapo is one of those clothing designers with the rare ability of being able to see beauty in places others have yet to discover, which is why his designs are sought after by clients from across the globe.
Nico,
Paledi,
welcome to your store.
Thank you, and such a pleasure to be in the store because this is your flagship store and it's such a far cry from where you started.
I grew up in Soweto in Midland Zone 1. And, you know, when I was growing up, I knew there was always an artistic element in my so-called character and ability. But as time progressed, you know, I started paying very much particular attention to fashion. I remember I bought my first Vogue magazine when I was still in primary. And there was already that kind of like subtle inspiration that I was kind of grasping from the fashion world.
Whilst doing his master's in business leadership, he consulted to a designer and was so inspired by his business, he decided to go into fashion himself.
What is your style? What do you gravitate towards?
You know, in fashion, it is very dangerous to try to come up with a so-called unique style, because at the end of the day, as creative people, we're rendering a service to the consumer. And it is absolutely fundamental to understand the trends that are unfolding within the retail industry, because at the end of the day, we need to produce clothes that are not only wearable, but that are also accessible.
After his first SA Fashion Week 7 years ago, Paledi launched his own brand in 2010 and from day one understood the power of personality to communicate his creations.
Well, locally, I've been designing for a whole lot of celebrities, including Top Billing's own Jonathan Boyton Lee.
Ah, Jonathan, now I know your secret, John. Now I know your secret. It's done. It's done. Yeah.
And Proverb, Vuskunene, the list is endless, including musicians actually that I dress. And actually, here is Donald. How are you doing, Jones?
How you pass?
How do you do? Nice to meet you, Donald. Yeah, good, thank you.
Donald here is a multi-award winning musician, and last year he won Metro FM Best Ballad Artist.
I actually had to drag him to the stage because I felt like it wasn't just my award, but it was our award, you know.
Donald is actually here to fit his suit that we made for him for the Durban July. And the interesting thing is, Donald never gets to see his clothes until the day of the submission, or rather the day of the fitting itself.
Oof, that sounds like trust to me, Donald.
Yep, it's exactly what it is, man.
Paledi styled Donald's move from Afro soul into dance, and the partnership continues.
So, what was your inspiration behind this particular outfit?
So I borrowed inspiration from the film, one of my favorite films, The Great Gatsby. But also it was very important to also take into consideration Donald's image, because he's got a new album out called Black and White, and his wardrobe for the season of this album is just black and white.
So has he always been your go-to guy when it comes to clothing design?
Listen, Paledi has been dressing me from day one, actually, from the beginning, the beginning of my career, and he's basically kind of built, what people now call the Donald look. And yeah, man, I owe my life to this guy,
And one thing that I really, really enjoy immensely working with Donald is he knows what he wants. Moreover, he understands his fashion identity. And it really makes the synergy between us to really work.
Paledi's wealth of ideas is a result of him traveling and researching extensively for new looks for celebs like Donald and rapper and TV presenter Proverb.
Pro looking snappy as always, all dressed up and ready for the Durban July.
The theme is all about the big screen, television, movies, red carpets, but at the same time, you can't be over the top. You have to be timeless, you have to be elegant, and also, Paledi knows me. He understands me and he knows how to bring my personality out.
Pro De Niro.
I love it. I see that on an album title or like a poster.
There's a notion.
Pro De Niro.
So you trust him implicitly?
Nico, I want to tell you, Paledi actually gave me a fashion identity. I think before we linked up, I was all about the baggy jeans, the sweaters, the caps, the classic yo-yo-yo look. But this look, the De Niro look, do you know what I mean? It's all thanks to this man. In fact, he even had me walk the runway one time at SA Fashion Week. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the toughest thing with that was just keeping a straight face. Twice.
Behind his star client list lies an ethic that sees Paledi working 7 days a week.
Your life has been an inspirational journey for any youngster with a dream. What advice would you give to aspiring designers and entrepreneurs?
You've got to channel your way of thinking, and the only thing that you should actually be motivating you to be in this business is to ensure that your brand is well positioned. You add fashion week platforms, and on top of it, you try shadow the designers that are already established. So really think business before you think being out there, being fabulous, and attending all the events.
Well, I think you'd agree, Paledi, for anyone living at the pace you do, every now and then you got to stop and just smell the roses. So, to your good health, sir.
Yeah.
Catch Paledi at the Durban July on Saturday on SABC3.